Hello, everybody. Laurel here. Um, I'm here to offer a little bit of yoga to you all today. Um, it's, let's see, what's the date? I don't know. It's our fifth week of being in quarantine here in Colorado, anyways. And I know that so many of my colleagues and friends that are working in the front line are um, pretty overwhelmed. So this is a really short practice if you do have a little bit of time to, um, I guess, to spend on yourself where you feel like you're in a space where you can actually move your body and breathe. This is the space for you. So this is a pretty short practice, 30 minutes or so. Um, And the reason why it's really movement oriented is because often when people have um, a lot of stress going on in life, it can be held very much in the body. And finding ways to move the body is one way to relieve a little bit of that stress. And it by no means means that what anybody is going through is any less difficult or challenging. But it's just kind of one way to support oneself while going through this really intense, stressful time. So if you are watching live, feel free to leave a little message in the live chat so I know that you're here, and feel free to even say like where you're from or things like that. Know that that's like, be mindful of your own privacy. That does show up, and I'll be posting this on my channel afterwards for people to watch whenever they get the chance, because I realize people are in different time zones and have different things going on. But I do love seeing comments. So if you're ready, let's move over to our mats. So it would be great if you had a yoga mat or something similar. If you don't have a yoga mat, it's fine. You could literally do a lot of this just like sitting on the floor in your living room or bedroom, even. And so for me, and I'll move back there now. For me, I really like to have my um, meditation cushion to support me. And it has, gives me a little bit more height in my back. One of the ways that we can all sort of sit a little bit more comfortably is to sit right on the edge of this, and then the back becomes a little bit more tall. So, just something to think about. Maybe you can um, MacGyver it and find something in your home that might work as well. And so, as you're sitting up really nice and tall, I really would love for you to just take a moment and orient yourself into this moment, right? So take a look around your room, letting all judgment of what your room looks like put that aside. Um, Look around your room, just sort of seeing the different objects, maybe even picking out a few things that are of different colors and whatnot. Um, Maybe, five things that are the color blue, for example. Um, yeah. And you can do this anytime that you find your mind really wandering a lot into the future, into the past. You can come into this orienting practice to help bring yourself really fully into this present moment. And then as we sit up nice and tall, I'm going to ask you to just kind of take your hands and we're going to tap our bodies. So this sort of starts to stimulate the physical nervous system, the immune system, the lymphatic system. And so starting with your left arm, just go ahead and give some little taps here. Again, this is also a way to bring yourself into the here and now and bring yourself really into your physical body, because sometimes when people are under a lot of stress, things start to feel a little bit disconnected. So you can even just sort of watch as your hand taps around. Good. And maybe get the shoulders a little bit. Nice. And tapping the chest here. You can take little fingers like little raindrops and just drop them over your forehead, lightly across the temples, maybe the sinuses. And stimulating the lymphatic system is actually really good for the immune system as well. You can get the crown of the head, the back of the head, the back of the neck, and then really gently using maybe your ring finger and perhaps the middle finger, find your lymph nodes. And here you're just going to gently press your lymph nodes, really, really gentle. Just an easy little press. And for most people, you can kind of feel them a little bit sort of right underneath the neck. They might be a little bit inflamed, and sometimes that happens when we're under a bit of stress or the immune system is fighting something. And this just helps to sort of stimulate that. And now we're going to take the hands and just move them down the neck. So moving the lymph down the neck towards the heart, towards the armpits. Um, Now we're going to tap the legs. So you can stretch the legs out and tap the legs. You can do this pretty hard. You can even use fists if you want to. And tapping the sides of the calves and maybe open hands on the shin. The shins are a little more sensitive. And then moving over to the other side. That's it. Good. And sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, sweep the arms right up to the ceiling. Lift them high. Grab on now to your left wrist and extend over to the right side. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, reach. Inhale back to center, grabbing onto the right hand, reaching over to the left, and it may be mirrored depending on the settings on your device that you're watching this on. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, release the hands. Clasp them behind the back and reach the arms behind you. Take a deep breath in, right up through the chest. Maybe even gaze upwards slightly. Exhale, nice big breath, maybe even out through the mouth. Release the arms and you can shake it out a little bit. So for some people, to regulate the nervous system, it requires a bit of vigorous movement. And for other people to regulate the nervous system, like to come more into that rest and digest instead of the fight, flight, or freeze, to come into the rest or digest, it actually involves slowing down a little. So I'd love it if you could sort of adapt this for what you feel you need. Um, and so for some people, it may be a little bit more restorative. So we're going to move here on to hands and knees. So taking a little bit of a more active start here. So on hands and knees, spread the fingers out nice and wide and just slowly begin to round the spine and dropping the belly downward. Inhale, gaze up. We call this cat and cow movement. And so just feeling a little bit of movement and breath through the body. And so as you're breathing, I really encourage you to breathe as deeply as you can, feeling the breath flow from the lower belly, filling up the middle belly, up into the chest, and then exhale, emptying from the chest to the middle belly, all the way down to the lower belly. And you may want to sway the hips a little side to side, moving the head, shaking it out. And then spread the knees out nice and wide. Sink yourself down into a child's pose. So the knees are wide, the hips are back towards the heels. For some people, it feels a little more supportive to have the knees in towards one another. And you can also have a block or a pillow under your head for a little extra space. So pressing the space of the third eye on a block or on a surface, even your hands, can really help to also regulate the nervous system. So you might want to try that too. So together, let's take in a really deep breath. Exhale out a sigh through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And slowly here, moving your way back up onto hands and knees. You're going to tuck the toes under and lift the hips up to the sky into downward dog. Now, if you have unregulated high blood pressure, you might not want to do this, and instead you can just stay here on hands and knees. But if you feel okay to do this, you can lift the hips up nice and high, walking perhaps one heel down to the floor and then the other, and shifting the hips maybe side to side. And just notice how you feel in the physical body right now, right? Can you kind of move the shoulders or the neck, finding a little bit more length in the spine? Take a deep breath in, feel the hips reach back. Exhale slowly out. One more deep breath in, lift right up onto your tiptoes. When you're ready to, walk the hands and feet together. However you get there is fine. Now, for those of you that want a little bit more space so that your belly isn't like crushing into your legs too much, you can spread the feet out a little wider. And then clasp the arms together, soften the knees a lot, just fold forward. Breathe in. Exhale. Maybe even a little sway here, side to side. Allowing the back of the neck to get really long. And then feel your feet root down to the ground. Slowly come all the way up. If you get dizzy, just kind of pause until it passes. Good. So now the feet come together at the front of the mat, arms alongside the body. Inhale, reach the arms right up to the sky, lift them high. Grab onto the left wrist and reach over to the right side. It's the same thing that we did when we were seated. Inhale, come back up and over to the other side. Inhale, back up again. Soften the knees and take the hands, clasp them behind the lower back. Lift up through the chest. Breathe in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Release that out. Good. So I'm just going to ask you to kind of do a little bit of a shake. So again, things get sort of locked in the body, and moving the body a little bit to get some of that feeling of stress or anxiety out can be really helpful. So here you're just going to kind of shake the arms. You could shake the legs. You can even kind of move the head, shake the body. It might feel a little bit funny, or like thankfully you're at home and not on YouTube like me doing this. Right? Good. And just pause, feeling the body here. So notice, what does the body feel like? Inhale, reach the arms right up to the sky. You're going to lift them high. Bring the fingertips together and then slowly draw them down. And again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, slowly draw it down. One more time here. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, drawing it down as if you're kind of grabbing your thoughts, your emotions, everything, and just kind of saying like, it's okay. It's okay. In this moment, I am safe. In this moment, I'm here practicing this for my own self-care. Go ahead and release that out. Good. You're going to take a big step open on the side of your mat and just spin your left toes to point towards the front. Arms can move out to a T and then lunge into the front knee. So here, really feel the back foot root down. Good. And then lower the left forearm onto the left thigh. Reach the right arm up and over. Take a deep breath in and come back up. We're going to reverse that back. So lowering the right hand onto the right leg, lift the left arm back. Inhale, arms open, and exhale, reach. And again, just moving here with your breath. And your arms might become a little more fluid. Right? Maybe they feel like they want to be a little bit more rigid. And here we're kind of trusting that our bodies know how to move, right? It knows what it needs. Does it need to move slower to breathe more deeply? Or maybe does it feel more nourishing to move a little bit more quickly? Bring the arms up to a T and then spin all 10 toes to point to the side of the mat. Palms together in front of the heart. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Feeling your feet solid on the ground. Feeling the strength of that beneath you, knowing that within you, you are stronger than you ever realized. Go ahead and spin now the right toes to point to the back of the mat. Arms move out to a T, lunge into the front knee. So here we're in warrior B. Feel the low belly hug in slightly. And then slowly here flow to that extended side angle. And then inhale up. Exhale, reach back. And inhale up. So we're just going to move and flow as you move. Noticing your breathing. You can keep the eyes open and just kind of see the arms move through space, right? No judgment as to how they're moving, just kind of seeing how they move, feeling how they move through space. One more time, reach it back, arms to a T. Good. Turn all 10 toes to point to the front of the room again. Palms here can just sort of rest in front of the heart, or maybe they're placed with palms over the heart. Maybe one hand over the solar plexus. And feel the feet ground down. The resilience of human beings is amazing. The resilience that lives within you is amazing. I know I've worked with so many people that I see that I'm just absolutely blown away. Blown away by how resilient they are, how strong they are, how caring and compassionate they are. These things are limitless, they are boundless. And sometimes it doesn't feel that way. Sometimes it doesn't feel like anything at all. But you're connecting within yourself, just knowing that that strength, that love, that kindness lives within you. So here, just bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lengthen and look up to the sky. Soften the knees. You're bending them quite a bit as you fold forward. Reach the hands down to the floor. So you can pause here and lengthen. And if you want to, if it feels okay on your legs, you might choose to fold forward a little more. Just so that the head is kind of dangling down towards the ground. Breathe in. Allow the shoulders to melt and soften. Just kind of allowing gravity to do its work, allowing the shoulders to move closer towards your ears, towards the ground. And then slowly come back up halfway. And you're just going to bring yourself down to sit on the ground. So this could be sitting, kneeling, or maybe not. And we're going to do a little position in a more restorative way. So if you do have something like a couch or maybe an ottoman, I have an ottoman here that I can use. You can kind of go over by that. And here, we're going to come to lie on the back with the feet up on the ottoman or on the side of a couch or a chair or anything like that. Bend the knees so that they're drawn in a little bit. And you're going to take the right ankle and cross it over the left knee. Now, if it feels comfortable for you to do so, you can close your eyes. But sometimes when people are feeling like particularly anxious or stressed, it actually can feel more centering to have the eyes open. So if that's the case, you might just want to softly gaze ahead and just notice how your body melts towards the floor. So you might just want to let the arms kind of go along the ground. Again, if it feels really nourishing and supportive to you, you can have your hands kind of resting on your body, either on your abdomen, lower belly, chest. And you can try a couple different places and just see like which one feels the most supportive, kind of holding yourself in this way. And it's okay if there's stress here in your body. There's no need to like make it go away, even though sometimes we hope it does. In this moment, I invite you to just kind of simply notice the physical sensations that are present within your own body. Noticing your breath in the background. There may also be some thoughts or some emotions present as well. Whatever arrives, here we're just simply noticing it, we're greeting it, knowing that being a human being means feeling the full range of emotions. Mind you, most of us hope to not feel all those things all in one day, but sometimes that happens. And then here in this practice, we can be with it. Noticing moment by moment what arises. And gently here you can stretch the legs and the arms out. And then bring the legs in. You can cross the opposite ankle. So for me, that's the left ankle over. And if that felt really nourishing to you to have your hands kind of rested on the body, I invite you to do so. And you might even just scan through the body and see like, are there places in the body that you can kind of soften a little? Like, particularly in the fingers and the hands, maybe in the jaw, across the forehead. If you find your mind is really, really busy, you might even want to try counting your breath. So, counting maybe to 4 or 5, and then on the next part of the breath, counting again to 4 or 5, or maybe even 6. Just as a way to allow your breath to help you be focused and anchored in this moment. And now releasing your legs out, you can move your ottoman or move your body so that you have room to stretch the legs out. And so just kind of stretching out the legs here. You can reach the arms up over the head. Give yourself a big, big, big stretch here. And then we're going to go through the body, kind of tightening one part and then releasing it. So I'm going to sit up so you can kind of hear me a little bit better and see me a little better. But you're lying on your back. Allow the eyes to soften or close all the way as we come into a more restful part of this practice. Yeah. And then we're going to scan through the body. So start by bringing your awareness to your toes and kind of squeeze your toes and then release them. And then inhale, squeeze them. Exhale, release them. Good. Now imagine that you're kind of squeezing your calf muscles. So you might even want to flex your feet to feel that and then release. And squeeze that and release. And then with the thighs, you can flex those thigh muscles. Your glutes might kind of contract with that as your hips may as well. And release. So constrict those calf or thigh muscles and release. And now you're going to, on purpose, kind of squeeze your bum cheeks together and release. And again, squeeze and release. Now your belly, think about hugging your belly and really, really, really tight. Flex it tight, 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 and release. Flex it one more time and let it go. Good. Moving on to the arms, make fists and tighten your arms. Shrug your shoulders up very, very, very tight and let it go. Just even flopping it down. And then squeeze really, really tight and let it go. Good. This time you're going to take your shoulders right up to your ears, kind of scrunch your chin in like you're almost tightening your neck, and then release that out. One more time. Exhale, release that out. And lastly, you're going to scrunch up your face. So scrunch it up as much as you can, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, squeeze, squeeze, scrunch, scrunch, and release that. One more time, squeeze it all and release that. Now you're going to tighten your entire body. So every single muscle that we just went through, maybe a few more. Squeeze your whole body tight, 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 and let it go. And then come to a nice, even breath. Just a natural breath. Even telling your body that it's okay to rest. Letting your mind know that it's okay to rest. And maybe saying to your heart that it's okay to feel. Every single breath you take, allowing a little more ease, inviting it in. Just being aware of the softness of your breath. Giving yourself the permission to just be just as you are, knowing that in this moment, you are resting. And perhaps with every breath, maybe sending yourself a little bit of love and care. We all need it. Telling yourself the same things that you would say to any person in your life that is going through a stressful time. Turn it around and say it directly to yourself. Whatever that is, saying it to yourself in this way that really has a lot of meaning and compassion behind it. That kindness. And maybe it is telling yourself this is hard. This is hard. I'm doing so much. I deserve kindness towards myself. I deserve care. I am more than enough. And slowly here, you might begin to just kind of wiggle the fingers and the toes, circling the ankles and the wrists. Maybe even reaching the arms up over the head as you lie down. You can stretch that out. Taking a deep breath and just exhale out a sigh. Slowly roll over onto your favorite side. Place the hands down to the floor and gently bring yourself all the way up until you're seated. And so here, just sitting comfortably on your mat. You might want to close the eyes or just lower the gaze. And notice how you are in your body and your mind and your spirit. Whatever it is, know that it's okay. Know that you can come back to your breath at any moment. It's always there to ground you, to center you. And here, I invite you to bring your palms together in front of the heart, and we do this in an act of gratitude for this practice. Gratitude for all of the teachers who have come before. Gratitude to even just technology for connecting us. Gratitude to all the people in the world. Gratitude to all the good and the care and the love that is out there that we see every single day. I thank you all so much for sharing in this practice today. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace peace peace. So thank you all for joining live. And for those of you who are going to crawl up to the screen, those of you who will join me later, feel free to leave a comment. Um, Feel free to share with others. My whole goal of this is that more people have access to a little bit of this practice that I know for me helps me to work through really difficult things. And it's not easy. It is a practice because it does take time. But spending a little bit of time on oneself is never um, done in vain. Like it's always helpful, and we all need it, in my belief, anyways. So, again, this is Laurel. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have a really, really beautiful day.